Welcome to our continuing series, Questions and Answers, from the works of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. Today, Parents, Part 2, from the Mother. But before we enter into the details of the subject, I wish to make a recommendation to parents. Most parents, for various reasons, give very little thought to the true education which should be imparted to children. When they have brought a child into the world, provided him with food, satisfied his various material needs, and looked after his health more or less carefully, they think they have fully discharged their duty. Later on, they will send him to school and hand over to the teachers the responsibility for his education. There are other parents who know that their children must be educated, and who try to do what they can. But very few, even among those who are most serious and sincere, know that the first thing to do, in order to be able to educate a child, is to educate oneself, to become conscious and master of oneself, so that one never sets a bad example to one's child. For it is above all through example that education becomes effective. To speak good words and to give wise advice to a child has very little effect if one does not oneself give him an example of what one teaches. Sincerity, honesty, straightforwardness, courage, disinterestedness, unselfishness, patience, endurance, perseverance, peace, calm, self-control, are all things that are taught infinitely better by example than by beautiful speeches. Parents have a high ideal and always act in accordance with it, and you will see that little by little your child will reflect this ideal in himself and spontaneously manifest the qualities you would like to see expressed in his nature. Quite naturally, a child has respect and admiration for his parents. Unless they are quite unworthy, they will always appear to their child as demigods, whom he will try to imitate as best he can. With very few exceptions, parents are not aware of the disastrous influence that their own defects, impulses, weaknesses, and lack of self-control have on their children. If you wish to be respected by a child, have respect for yourself, and be worthy of respect at every moment. Never be authoritarian, despotic, impatient, or ill-tempered. When your child asks you a question, do not give him a stupid or silly answer under the pretext that he cannot understand you. You can always make yourself understood if you take enough trouble, and in spite of the popular saying that it is not always good to tell the truth, I affirm that it is always good to tell the truth, but that the art consists in telling it in such a way as to make it accessible to the mind of the hearer. In early life, until he is 12 or 14, the child's mind is hardly open to abstract notions and general ideas, and yet you can train it to understand these things by using concrete images, symbols, or parables. Up to quite an advanced age, and for some who mentally always remain children, a narrative, a story, a tale well told teach much more than any number of theoretical explanations. Disciple. Sweet Mother, why and how does one lose one's spiritual gain by going elsewhere? One can make a conscious effort, and your protection is always there, isn't it? To visit one's parents is to return to an influence which is generally stronger than any other. And there are not many cases where the parents help you in your spiritual progress, because they are usually more interested in a worldly realization. Parents who are primarily interested in spiritual realization usually do not ask their children to come back to them. Blessings. Disciple. Do parents only love bright and clever children? Mother. No, their arms enfold them all. One day I went into a village shop. The father, a cobbler, was nailing a sole onto an old shoe. The mother was cleaning the kitchen. They paused in their work to speak to me about their son. The poor boy was almost dumb. I could not understand what he was saying, but his parents knew the meaning of his inarticulate cries. He had so little reason that he could neither dress nor feed himself alone. His parents had to watch over him all day, lest he should hurt himself or hurt other children. They had done this for 7 or 8 years, and they loved him in spite of all this trouble.